The 5-0 vote by FCC commissioners made their message clear. The blackout rule is outdated and unnecessary.
For 40 years, these teams have hidden behind a rule of the FCC. No more.
As if the NFL needed someone else dogging their every mistake, now the federal government's bearing down again. The NFL was until recently going along its merry way as the unassailable American sporting top dog, but of late it's being exposed as more than a little flawed. Everything from controversial TD celebrations to the cover-up over concussions. As Ricky Ricardo used to say, they got a lot of splaining to do. Welcome back to Midpoint. Noted sports business analyst, attorney, deal maker, and a good friend for many years, the CEO of Horrow Sports Ventures, Rick Horrow, who's still trying to get the splaining to do out of his head. I can see that working.
I was just going to say, you sound more like Lucy than Ricky. That's another story.
I'm not even going to try from that point.
No.
A lot of things. Let's go ahead and hit it. Jovan Belcher this week. They found out again with the autopsy that he did suffer from CTE. This is now a full-blown cover-up the NFL's been involved in for years.
It's a full-blown process. And, you know, the issue here, too, is you got to understand the process here. It's still too early to decide who ultimately has responsibility or not. There's a concussion settlement. Some say that's not enough. It'll never be enough for some people from some perspective. There's also the assumption of risk. There's a lot of discussion right now about what risks you have in today's environment when you're playing football because you know you're going to be hit. The other issue is if you have a class action suit and you say anybody who thinks they're available to get some money from this class, donate the contact that'll donate your brain, it skews the class a little bit. I'm not suggesting it's right or wrong. I'm not sure I'm prepared to say it's a cover-up yet. I know you are. I'm not.
Okay. NFL blackout rule in the FCC. What's the big deal?
Well, the big deal is symbolic more than anything else right now because you got to remember last year there were only 2 games that were blacked out and the year before only 11. But when the whole deal was started that allowed a Green Bay to exist in the same economic circumstances as the Giants and the Jets, the Maras, the Rooneys, the Hallises, all of the big-time families in big markets got together and said, we're going to share this TV revenue, we're going to pool this revenue. And part of the whole discussion about the deal at the national level was to make sure that there were blackout protections to drive people to stadiums. When we were all growing up, and I'm a Dolphin fan, and I would remember the 72 perfect season, you would all away games, you can watch them on TV. Home games, you couldn't. You had to go to a bar or go somewhere else. And so the bottom line is the blackout has been eased over time. Today, the practical effect is not that significant because everybody says you got to be driven to stadiums to go to stadiums. There's a term called decouching now where everybody says get off the couch, go to stadiums. And now the NFL, as you know, the DirecTV number that just happened, it is a $12 billion number. So everybody understands the TV notion anyway. You got to be able to do both.
90 seconds, 2 things left here. The flag for praying in the end zone. Wasn't this really just a referee who knee-jerked?
Yeah, I think it was. Bottom line is, and everybody admits it. And the whole idea of celebrations, I mean, I'm a big football fan. I've been involved with the NFL. They got better things to do. So let's not figure out how to penalize what is a good and not good celebration. I think the competition committee will deal with that sooner than later.
And what about the FCC? Let's go back again. Here we go. The FCC now going after and saying that they will go after the Redskins and not allow it to be heard on their air. Wait a minute. There's so much else that's said on primetime television these days, and I understand the racist complications that many people bring into this, but can they really do this?
George Carlin, was it the 7 dirty words and all that kind of stuff too? And I understand, and I as a lawyer remember the whole First Amendment issue as well. And the bottom line of all of that is that you got to be very, very careful about opening the Pandora's box because I would agree with you that the FCC has a little bit more of a mandate than telling you which specific words you ought to use or not use beyond what they've already done.
And not only that, let's bring that up. 7 dirty words. I'm not going to repeat them, but there's now a few of them. No. There's actually, I think, 1 or 2 that you now hear on primetime television. So the FCC getting all bent up about this is something they need to stay out of.
They need to stay out of it, and there are 1 or 2 that I used before we got on the air about 5 minutes ago.
You use them as a
on a regular conversational basis, ladies and gentlemen.
Good seeing you again, Mr. Horrow.
All right, man.
All right, Rick Horrow is going to join us here. He's going to stop by every week because he has no place else to go.
Exactly.
Next hour here on Midpoint, the need for more whistleblowers and why they won't be that easy to find, certainly on Wall Street. And after the break, we got to get serious again. The spread of a killer virus and that too many mistakes were made in Dallas. They were simply made because people there knew better. They thought and they didn't think correctly. Now everybody has to worry about whether or not this is coming to your town. Stick around. Midpoint continues right here.